So now we are into the final part of the Sidecar Shootout, and the first one, which is about to go on to its flying lap, absolutely crucial at this stage. Sam and Tom Christie, they were fourth fastest in the knockout classification that took place earlier on. James Hayden is with me once again as we analyse what's going on here. And James, with the track cooling down, the temperature's getting a little bit colder, that's going to make life even more tricky, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's one of the things the chaps are saying is it's just really difficult to get those tyres warmed up, especially the left-hand side, to get that even temperature of the tyres on that warm-up lap, and they're only coming in really partly through the actual flying lap, which is why they're all struggling a little bit on turn one. You've got to attack that lap, but they're doing a good job here. Well, here they are, and they're running the long chassis, the GP chassis, 2021 version with the Yamaha R6 engine in it. About 140 brake horsepower, and it's rear engine, this one. You see it just fighting a little bit to get it there, and then this is where they really want to spin. Look at the passenger climbing all over it, keeping that weight and then getting tucked in down the straight.
Yeah, the brothers, Sam and Tom Christie, they're doing a great job. They were right in on the pace earlier on. It was a very close battle. The top four that we're going to watch were separated by just over 1 second on the flying lap earlier. And as you say, the track conditions are different, so everybody's got to adapt to that. You can see there is a bit more movement, a bit more slide. What we've been watching this weekend at Goodwood with Sidecars, absolutely fabulous. And now they're really going for it. This is the one lap. This is the one that ultimately will decide, are they going to be right at the top of the order or not? We'll see what the order is. Across the line, it's a 1:22.2, so that is a little slower than we saw in the slightly warmer conditions we had earlier today.
Yes, it is, but it's actually it's their quickest lap of the weekend.
Okay.
So they've taken another 0.6 of a second off. So for them, I think that's a good lap. They were hoping to get into the 121s as the top next three guys are, but that for them is their best lap of the weekend. And it's been quite difficult talking to those guys, because they've got like an out lap, a flying lap, an in lap, and Goodwood's somewhere where you kind of want to build a little bit when you're first learning, get some laps in, and certainly talking to Todd Ellis, he felt if he had a number of laps, he felt he could even get into the 119s.
Yeah, that's part of the game. It's like when you're doing a hill climb or a sprint.
Absolutely.
You just go on cold tyres. That's it. So you just have to deal with it, don't you?
Exactly that. It's the same for everyone. You've got what you got. They weren't complaining. They're just saying it's one of the little tricky things. And as you say, with the temperature just having dropped off a fraction, the winds maybe picked up a tad. But a good Sam Christie and Tom Christie there. You can see the effort. These guys super fit and really putting it in. So as they finish their lap, so they've set the markers of 1:22.2. The best from earlier on was a 1:21.64 by Todd Ennis and Emmanuel Clement. So that's the marker in the sand. Next up, we can see number 29. That's Steve Kershaw, Ryan Charlwood. They're on a brand new 2024 LCR Yamaha with a Yamaha R6 engine, and again it's the GP chassis, the long chassis.
And they were actually quickest in the qualifying classification, but they weren't quickest in the knockout classification. So we had a couple of runs yesterday, and then we had the knockout this morning. They ended up third fastest in that, but they were actually fastest yesterday, weren't they?
They were. Talking to them earlier, they've raised the ride height of their sidecar a little bit, so they've lifted it up fractionally and just softened it off, because they just want to try and get it to flow over the bumps and just the humps of Goodwood a little bit better. So they're hoping that's going to give them a little bit more. These guys were fourth.
That wasn't quite right.
No, this is them just fighting that, getting that temperature in the tyres. These long chassis are much better through the left-handers than the little TT chassis that we got coming up after this. Again, a little adjustment there from the passenger. Seems backed off again. Let's just see if he's just trying to warm it up. Just looks like he was just struggling a fraction there for some reason, Ryan Charlwood, but it looks like they're back on it again now.
Well, let's see how it goes for them. So Steve Kershaw and Ryan Charlwood yesterday did a 1:22.4. Earlier today, they did a 1:21.9. So they were in the 21s. And remember, the time to beat so far, just a single time of 1:22.2. They're just coming to the end of the outlap, and they will now come into the chicane and launch to try and set the fastest lap they have done of the weekend. The fastest lap, they hope, of anybody on the sidecars. Away we go. Remember, we are celebrating 75 years since the World Championship of Sidecars began, and it's been a real joy to see this machinery operating in such a fantastic form here at Goodwood, with some of the best riders and passengers in the world. They've got so many championship titles amongst them, but today it's just about getting around Goodwood as quickly as possible.
It is this sort of super pole out, you know, just flying lap. They're doing a good job. Let's have a look. So they're 0.9 of a second up on that first split, and then we come to this left-hander, a little bit edgy through there because the left-handers, there's only a couple at Goodwood, so the right-hander's always a bit better, but these more square-like tyre, you know, race car tyres spread their temperature better. A little bit of sliding there, heard it spinning.
Yeah, you could hear he was actually having to ease off fractionally, wasn't he, on throttle, but the rider, the driver, as he's also known as, he's leaning on his belly, remember, on his chest, his legs sticking out behind him, and he's working the throttle on the hand, as you would on a motorbike, but he's using his feet for both the gears and the brakes.
Yes, he's indeed. He's coming in. I think he's at least... it's good. Really quite hot there, but I think he's about a second and a half up on the Christie, so we'll have a little look as he comes in, tucks in, as the three-time champion crosses the line. Let's have a look at the time.
1:21.616. Now that is fractionally the fastest we've seen all weekend by 0.03 of a second. We saw a 21.646 earlier today from Todd Ellis and Emmanuel Clement, but now they've just got a fraction quicker, so they've taken the top spot.
They have indeed. He will be really chuffed with that. You know, it's as we say, it's cooling down slightly. He attacked it. He had a bit of a slide in that last bit, maybe used a fraction too much curve, but I think mostly it was a very neat lap. And as we say, this is it. As he just comes out of here, watch it. He just has that little slide, catches a bit of the grass, and just releases some grip. Cost him maybe a tenth or two, but he'll be very chuffed with that. Fastest lap of the weekend to Kershaw and Charlwood. So really good job there for the three-time British champions. Yeah,
three-time British champions, and also front runners in the World Championship. They finished third in the World Championship the last 2 years, the last 2 seasons, and they won one event completely, both races last year as well. So they're right up there in the World Championship, and they've proved that pace right now with that 1:21.616. 2 more to go. Ben Birchall and Kevin Rousseau with the slightly different machine that will be coming out next, and then Todd Ellis and Emmanuel Clement, who set the outright pace in the knockout classification.
That's right. So far the two Sidecar outfits that we've seen, they've both been the GP chassis, so these are longer, they've got wider tyres, they're designed for short, smooth circuit racing, and they haven't got quite as powerful an engine. Now, this outfit that we're about to see, this is Ben Birchall and Kevin Rousseau. Ben has been a 4-time world champion with his brother Tom, who retired last year. So his new partner is Kevin Rousseau. But they're on a TT-like chassis, so it's shorter. And all the other sidecars are rear engine. This is front engine. It works in quite a different way. All the other bikes in this shoot-off, they've all got Yamaha R6 engines. This has got a Honda CBR engine. But the one thing about these TT chassis, you're allowed to tune the engine more, so it's got maybe 10 to 12 brake horsepower more. One thing it is, though, it's slightly worse on left-handers. It has about 10 inches less rubber down on the road, but you know, he's a superb rider. He's won, as we say, 4 world championships.
Well, that was certainly excellent stuff to see already. We want to have a little look at a replay of what was going on just a moment ago. Just have a look at what he's doing with his head, just down at the back there. Look at that.
Nice little handstand, and that's how happy they are. So, yeah.
That's brilliant. That's Ryan Charlwood, very happy passenger with Steve Kershaw after they've just set such a brilliant lap. So well done to them, and that was a lovely display as well. Right, okay, let's get back to this bike you were mentioning, the sidecar you were mentioning, and you were also telling me, although it's a front engine, look at that, I'm not surprised to see a bit more weaving to get tyre temperature up. The engine being in front of the driver, but it's actually down at an angle on this one, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. He's slanted it right forward, and it's meant he's had to convert it from a wet sump to a dry sump, so it doesn't seize up. And as they start their lap, he really attacks that, and it means that it's lower, it's smaller, it's neater. So it's kind of swings and roundabouts, as you say. Hasn't got as much grip, isn't as wide, hasn't got as much rubber, but it's got a little bit more power.
So here we are then, into Madrick, the first corner. Fast, double apex right-hander. Brings him out wide, try not to go right onto the grass. Beautifully done.
That was neat.
Yeah, that was very neat indeed. heading down towards Ford Water for an absolutely flat-out little section there with passenger heeling over the side. That is the Kevin Russo who's doing all that work, having that first stint.
He's 9/10 up on that first split, so that is really good. He is flying. Now watch his left-hander. You see the inside wheel just bobbing a bit. Now he comes back down to the right-hander as he comes into St Mary's. It's such an important section, this, using all the track, then getting it back, and then you've got this big, important run down the straight. Missed the apex fractionally, but he's still got a good run.
He has got a good run. So this is potentially, that was a very good speed that we've seen from them as well. So as you mentioned, they have slightly more power in the motor than the World Championship machines, even though in theory they would have a little bit less grip. We shall see how it goes in the last section.
Yeah, he's used all the track. He's coming in. He's just got to get this nailed right. Come in, mind the barrier. We saw a lot of people clipping the barrier, but he comes at me. Now it's a run to the line.
It is a good one. Is it going to be enough to go fastest outright? Across the line he goes. No, it's not.
No.
It's not. The final sector not working out. Maybe it's the straight line speed in the end that wasn't quite so effective. They are third fastest, and it means at the moment Steve Kershaw and Ryan Charlwood are still on top with one more pairing to go. Ben Birchall and Kevin Russo, absolutely brilliant pairing. Ben Birchall, that remarkable both world sidecar records and 14 times winner of the TT. The TT, such a big deal to him and to family, but it didn't quite work out in the end, despite looking fantastic.
Yeah, just that last section, you see that inside wheel just picking up there, but whether he just sort of cost himself a bit of time through there. Now, he wanted to use this because he said this circuit is very TT-like, open, fast, bumpy, so he's using this outfit for practice and also bonding with his new passenger, Kevin, so he'll be slightly disappointed because he's half a second off his best from earlier today, which is a 1:21.88. So I'm sure he'll have been hoping to beat that, and especially just be a 10th off Christie and Christie. But at the same time, it's a nice, it's a nice clean lap.
And when you think, you've got three that are within 3/4 of a second around, on a single lap round here at Goodwood, that's impressive. They are very, very competitive with one another. Lovely to watch. And if you're a sidecar fan, you'll be watching more from Ben Birchall, I'm sure. Tom Birchall, who has been his partner for so long, part of family, that has changed. Tom has now stepped away from doing that at the end of last year. But Ben's going to continue racing with Kevin Russo, and they are making a good pairing, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah, that's it. Well, he's done so much, as we say, 4 World Championships, he's won 14 TTs, he's the lap record holder of the TT, with a lap of averaging over 120 miles an hour. But this pair you're looking at now, this is Todd Ellis and Emmanuel Clement. They're back on a GP chassis, so they're the real circuit design chassis. It's another LCR, a Louis Christian Racing chassis with the R6 engine. Now, these guys are the current world champions. They're the double world champions. They were world champions last year and the year before. They're 3 times British championships. And they're also, interestingly, a pairing. They're a couple. They're together, Todd and Emmanuel. And, so it's a really... Well, they're world champions. You can't say much more than that, can you?
No, brilliant job. Todd Ellis, only the 5th ever driver to win both British and World Championships in the same season. In the past, the likes of Jock Taylor, Steve Webster, the brilliant Steve Webster, of course, one of the great sidecar drivers. Tim Reeves has done it, and Ben Birchall, who we've already seen on track, they've done it where they've won World and British Championships in the same season, but these two have done it as well.
That's right, and it also meant they had to miss a couple of British Championships because of the clashes with World, so they couldn't do every round, but they really are a formidable duo, and they're just getting warmed up. Just hear a little bit of spin there, just trying to force that heat in the tyres. As we say, it's one of the things, just almost touched the grass there as they come down, nearly ready to start their last lap as we come down to Woodcote.
Yeah, Emmanuel Clement rides it tucked in. She's very quick and it's just switching from one side to the other.
And one of the other things, if you look at the left-hand side of the bottom, you can see a slider there, and as they come through here, you'll watch her move, and you can just see, so it does straight. It's a good start to the lap, so look how well she gets tucked in.
Yeah, she really reduces the drag by tucking herself down as much as possible, then pushes herself over the right-hand side as they go into the double apex right-hand, and look at how her feet are up in the air. She's just hanging on in there through this incredibly fast corner. I tell you what, it feels fast in a car, let alone when you're hanging on the back of a sidecar and you're just hanging on. There are no harnesses around you. It's up to you to hold on.
Absolutely. These can do up to 170 miles an hour. They won't be doing it around here. They'll be doing more like 145, 150, but 25.9. So we've got a fastest first split for them. So they really are on it. Now this is a critical corner for the left-hander, and he comes back, cuts it, misses it maybe fractionally, and look again, climbing over, getting that weight, getting that handhold. So physical that it moves about.
Yeah, this is wonderful, and they are very much in the game to try and beat Steve Kershaw and Ryan Charwood. They're trying to go for the Sidecar Shootout victory here at Goodwood.
That was beautiful coming out there, every inch of the track right over the apex, and as they come down, she's tucked in, she's going to look, she's on the upper handhold, and in a second she's going to swap, reach right down to that lower handhold, leg right up in the air. Can he get this right?
Let's have a look. This is such a critical part. They were very quick here earlier, and it's looking good again, isn't it?
It is looking good. They got it. Oh, that's beautiful coming out of there. It's now a tuck and onto the line.
Let's have a look. 1:21.6 to beat. Across the line they come. And they've done it. They've done it. 1:21.174. And the victory goes to Todd Ellis and Emmanuel Clement. What a fantastic run that was.
That was a great lap, and you could see attacked all the way. They are the current world champions, the double world champions, and they proved to you why they are such a class act. You know, they come out 1:21.1. I mean, that is quick in anything, and what a great lap. So well done. Congratulations to Todd and Emmanuel for doing that. And how close was that? You know, what a great battle that was. All that top four covered by just 1.1 seconds.
Very, very impressive. But their margin in the end was 4/10, which is tiny, but it's also quite appreciated, I think, because it's very close between all of them. 4/10 of a second. That was a fantastic lap. Well done to Todd Ellis and Emmanuel Clement, and we will have a word with them in just a moment. I do hope you've all enjoyed that, whether you're watching online or whether you're here at Goodwood. Give them a big cheer, because this has been a tremendous shootout experience that we've had, with 8 of the sidecars beginning at the beginning of the weekend, the modern racing sidecars, mainly from World Championship like this one, and then they worked their way to the top 4 for this final part, and they have worked out as the winners. And indeed they did. Well, they were fastest in the knockout earlier on today, the 1:21.6 that they did, but they've gone even quicker this time with the 1:21.174.
Yeah, great lap. I'm sure they'll be slightly disappointed they're not in the 20s, being so close. 1/10 of a second, but they've got to be over the moon with that. They have won it the first time, as you say, celebrating that 75 years of sidecars. So yeah, great job there.
And I know many people have never watched sidecars before, because so many people here at Goodwood this weekend, very much into cars, enjoying the bikes as well. But to see the sidecars here, it's been a real great experience. Many congratulations to Todd Ellis and Emmanuel Clement. Do they know? I hope they know already that they've taken victory. Let's go down to Ed.
Todd, Emmanuel, I know you've won some World Championships, but you will forever be the first sidecar winners at Goodwood.
Spot on. No, we didn't know. I didn't ask what Ben's was. I said I didn't want to know what anyone else was doing, so I set my dash up, so I looked on my dash and see my lap time and knew it was a bit quicker than this morning, but yeah, spot on. It's one for the bucket list, isn't it? To say that you've won at Goodwood, it's a fantastic achievement.
21.1 was a fantastic. I mean, that lap looked from the outside, I mean, perfect. I know you said there's more time in it, but really on a one hit sprint, that was pretty good, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was pretty good. Feel it faster than this morning, but I think with better condition can go a lot faster than this. Yeah.
Well, look, guys, it's been absolutely fantastic. Thank you for bringing this, and congratulations again.
Yeah, love a job. Thank you for having us.